Commander, as you know, we do business deals with merchants and warlords from all over the realm, the one a tad more unscrupulous than the other. We are aware many of them treat their workfolk rather shabbily, but such are the bargains we make, we gladly look the other way. Oberon, however, demands that we should stop all dealings with them unless they meet certain standards. Fair trade, he calls it. Hogwash, more like. Tell me you agree with me, Commander. After the smokestick and sugar water fiascos, it's the least you can do. Commander, as you know, we do business deals with merchants and warlords from all over the realm, the one a tad more unscrupulous than the other. We are aware many of them treat their workfolk rather shabbily, but such are the bargains we make, we gladly look the other way. Oberon, however, demands that we should stop all dealings with them unless they meet certain standards. Fair trade, he calls it. Hogwash, more like. Tell me you agree with me, Commander. After the smokestick and sugar water fiascos, it's the least you can do. Ta very much, Commander. It took you a while to see the light, but you made a proper business decision in the end. These bastards of warlords are a gift to commerce, Commander. And by golly, you don't look a gift warlord in the mouth. Commander, I'd like to address once more the business we do with warlords of a less than conscientious nature. We are aware many of them treat their workfolk rather shabbily, but such are the bargains we make, we gladly look the other way. Oberon, however, demands that we would stop all dealings with them unless they meet certain standards. Fair trade, he calls it. Hogwash, more like. Tell me you agree with me, Commander. After the smokestick and sugar water fiascos, it's the least you can do. So it's fair trade then, is it? Suit yourself, Commander, but you'll go all kinds of green around the gills when you find out the price increases this namby-pamby scheme is going to create. I may just put this issue back on the table at a later date. See what you say then.
Falstaff seems to be under the impression that paying a bit more for merchandise in the knowledge its manufacturer is being treated with a degree of dignity is some sort of grievous sin. Yes, we may see a moderate increase in the cost of things. What can I say? A clear conscience doesn't usually come for free. One has to be a mean little miser to willingly make a profit, knowing others are suffering so you'll get your percentage. I knew Falstaff to be one, but you, on the other hand, Commander, you shock me. Falstaff was banking on the fact that money is an emperor's best friend. But time and again he seems to forget the wisdom of a dragon exceeds that of a mere human.
I know the kind of rotten souls Falstaff is referring to, Commander. And when men their like exploit their servants, it's always the imps that have to bear the worst of it. Fair trade. Sounds like a good plan to me. With all that fire-breathing you do, I thought you'd be hot of heart, Commander. But I forget that every so often you're as cold and calculating as a lizard, and as unprincipled as a dwarf. You do well to be as jolly as an imp once in a while. We're saving many people's hides by following Oberon's proposal, Commander. Many imps will sing your praises. Believe me, you don't want to hear them do it, but the thought is pleasant enough.
Falstaff seems to imply you owe him something, Commander, but it's quite the other way around. He owes you to stop proposing his dishonest and dishonorable schemes. I've always thought that a dwarf, being smaller than a lizard, therefore had a smaller heart, even metaphorically. I've been proven wrong. You are a great dragon, yet your heart is small. Small and wicked. Bravo, Commander. Like I said, Falstaff owed you, but by this refusal he has hardly begun to pay his debt. Feel free to deny him again, and again.
Those merchants, Commander, those warlords, they aren't worthy of their titles. Rats they are, that would break every law of the seven if it earned them a single penny. Let us deal with such vermin no longer. A thoroughly disagreeable decision, Commander. Makes me wonder if you are in fact worthy of your title. Yes. Let them mend their ways or be cast into the dust where their bleak bones will serve as everlasting reminders that this is what happens to the heathens that thwart the gods.
Commander, you know we dwarves will do anything that benefits the economy and thereby the Empire. That is to say, you. One of our most lucrative enterprises is the smoke stick industry. People love them. But there are so-called researchers at so-called universities, blasted elves, that say our wonderful tobacco products harm one's health. Nonsense! Our own research proves the exact opposite. So obviously, these elves are incompetent. They should have their government grants revoked, and their publications should be tossed in the fireplace. Commander, you know we dwarves will do anything that benefits the economy and thereby the Empire. That is to say, you. One of our most lucrative enterprises is the smoke stick industry. People love them. But there are so-called researchers at so-called universities, blasted elves, that say our wonderful tobacco products harm one's health. Nonsense. Our own research proves the exact opposite. So obviously, these elves are incompetent. They should have their government grants revoked, and their publications should be tossed in the fireplace. Excellent, Commander. Nothing worse than shabby research. As if a smoke stick ever harmed anyone. Each drag cleanses the lungs and revitalizes the mind. This is horrifying, Commander. People will be swayed by that elven rubbish. Sales will plummet. Revenues will be lost. We stand to lose heaps of gold. You and me both. Oh, I think I'm going to be sick.
Commander, we elves do smoke the pipe from time to time, but always in moderation. People tend to puff smokesticks all day long, though, and our research indicates many of those that do, sooner or later, fall dreadfully ill. Falstaff wants to suppress these facts for the sake of profit. But what about public health? You have just stabbed some of the finest academics in the realm in the back, Commander. They but tried to protect your people from two evil influences: deadly smokesticks and greedy dwarves. Falstaff would sell poisonous frogs to children if there were money in it, Commander. So I'm glad you sided with our researchers and their findings. These smokesticks are a menace, and people should be aware of the risks.
I knew those things were bad for you, Commander. I knew it. First time I smoked a smoke stick, I coughed up such a storm a tornado alert was issued. Scientific results should never be suppressed, Commander. I am appalled that you would close down elven research centres because their findings would have cost the dwarves so dearly. Strictly dictatorial. Good, yes. Ban the smoke stick, I say. Gunpowder in your snuff box. There's a healthy alternative.
Commander, it doesn't exactly take academic research to catch at first glance that these smoke sticks are vile, lurid inventions fit for neither man nor beast. They bring you great wealth, that I realize, but perhaps wealth does not excuse their existence. It would seem wealth excuses the existence of smoke sticks after all. A tragedy, as far as I'm concerned. Impressive, Commander. Not many rulers would forgo great profit for the sake of the greater good.
Before I became an undead, Commander, gods be blessed that I did, I knew people who sucked in more smoke than air, and none of them ever attained the sacred perpetuity of the bone. I can but conclude the seven do not favour smoke sticks. Bah! Let the dwarves sell their smoke sticks, if that be your will. But let them add incense to the damn things then. Give them at least an air of sanctity. I frankly don't care if these smoke sticks are pure venom or fountains of vigour, Commander, but I have an inkling they do not bode well with the seven. And in all matters liturgical, it is best to err on the side of caution.
Commander, let me bring up the subject of the smoke stick once more. You know, these hazy darlings are precious as gold and make the royal coffers overflow with coin. What would you say, Commander, if I told you that this could be merely the beginning? We have discovered an ingredient that will make the smokestick 10 times more alluring. People won't be able to forego an hour without indulging in their wholesome taste. So what do you say, Commander? Care to make a ton of gold and 10 tons more after that? Commander, let me bring up the subject of the smokestick once more. You know these hazy darlings are precious as gold and make the royal coffers overflow with coin. What would you say, Commander, if I told you that this could merely be the beginning? We have discovered an ingredient that will make the smokestick 10 times more alluring. People won't be able to forego an hour without indulging in their wholesome taste. So what do you say, Commander? Care to make a ton of gold and 10 tons more after that? Capital, Commander. Capital in every sense of the word. Smokesticks for all. To your very good health. Commander, the smokestick is the closest thing we have to the philosopher's stone. It practically turns base materials into gold, such is their profit. And you cast it aside like the burnt-down butt of this very product. Inconceivable!
Falstaff has caught the scent of profit, Commander, and all reasonableness must yield. Quite clearly his proposal is contemptible and must be declined as a matter of course. I stand aghast, Commander. You are sacrificing your own populace on the godless altar of commerce. I had thought this beneath you, verily I did. Thank you, Commander. When the dwarves smell coin, they turn into bloodhounds ready to go for the neck of anyone in their way. When that happens, it takes no less than a dragon to stop them.
I can make a more or less educated guess as to what this ingredient is that Falstaff mentions, Commander, and I'm inclined to say proceed very, very carefully. Dear me, Commander, your gold lust must be taking on dwarven proportions. You're going frightfully too far. Good, Commander, well done. Falstaff wouldn't have rested until every last one of us was turned into a smokestick sucker. I, for one, will never be a fog breather.
Should the dwarfs make the smokestick actually addictive, and clearly that is their purpose, you are basically institutionalizing a depraved dependency on a drug for the sake of prosperity. Think on it, Commander. We just can't do this. Your decision darkens the day, Commander. May your newfound wealth bring only misery, for from misery it will be wrung. The lure of gold can make one blind to all else, Commander. Thank you for not succumbing to its sun-like radiance.
What is all this heretical claptrap about ingredients, allure, addiction? There is but one thing one should long for, and that is the blessing of the seven, not Silver Vein's smokesticks. You only care for your secular self, Commander, but beware the corruption of your soul. Gold buys you happiness here and now, but it won't buy your way out of hell. There. May this be the end of the smokestick. I never saw the point in them anyway. You inhale, smoke comes wafting from in between your ribs, and then what? Nothing.
Are you perhaps familiar with the phrase, "What is learned in the cradle is carried to the tomb," Commander? Well, let me tell you how it may be applied to smokesticks. As you may recall, they are all the rage these days, thanks to our new manufacturing processes. So we think it only prudent that every child should learn how to properly smoke. Make it part of the curriculum, you know, part of their education. We'll even sponsor this program, so it won't cost your treasury a dime. Are you perhaps familiar with the phrase, "What is learned in the cradle is carried to the tomb," Commander? Well, let me tell you how it may be applied to smokesticks. As you may recall, they are all the rage these days thanks to our new manufacturing processes. So we think it only prudent that every child should learn how to properly smoke. Make it part of the curriculum, you know, part of their education. We'll even sponsor this program so it won't cost your treasury a dime. Most gratifying, Commander. The younger they start, the more they'll smoke. And our profits, your profits, will rise exponentially once more. You've really come through for us, Commander. All the others were opposed to the great venture that is the smokestick, but you saw the potential all along. A dwarven heart beats in that dragon shape of yours, and I salute you. I only had our children's best interests at heart, Commander. It saddens me deeply. The last step in Scheme Smokestick won't come to fruition. Neither will the estimated profit.
What is learned in the cradle is carried to the tomb. I trust I needn't point out the irony here, Commander. I trust I needn't point out the irony, is what I said, Commander. Either you have no sense of humor, black as it would have been, or you do in fact consciously follow Falstaff's lurid plans. An outcome blacker still. I was already picturing children sitting there in classrooms, row on row, a smokestick protruding from each set of youthful lips, faces clouded by a sickening mist. Nightmarish, Commander. Praise be you put a halt to it.
Teach children how to smoke? Gobbledygook. There's nothing scientific about the smokestick. Those whippersnappers shouldn't spend time blowing smoke rings. They should be studying physics, chemistry, artillery. So all those little mites will be wasting their time as well as their health. This is monstrous, Commander. Very good, Commander. If our youngsters are to spend time with their heads in wafts of smoke, let it be during pistol practice and nothing else.
For Falstaff to act like he is doing this for the benefit of our children, instead of so obviously trying to get them addicted to smokesticks at an early age, is a feat of cynicism I never beheld before, Commander. This smokestick charade has gone on long enough. Time to rub it out. This decision is incomprehensible to me, Commander. Suffice it to say that its nature is so depraved, every lizard in the realm will experience it as a personal slight. May Falstaff choke on one of his smokesticks afore he can set his program in motion. A sage move, Commander. Adults, I suppose, can still be held responsible for their use of smokesticks, but when you start spoon-feeding the damn things to children, they don't stand an icicle's chance in a furnace.
Vile dwarf. Will his penchant for corruption never cease? Everybody knows a proper day's education consists of 8 hours of prayer. Let there be no interruptions. 7 curse the smokestick, Commander. How dare you let its use encroach upon the duties of each gods-fearing child? And you give them reason to fear. Oh, yes. The 7 are stern and will not forgive. Falstaff's smokestick was like a magic wand, Commander, that he used to keep you enthralled. Thankfully, the gods lifted its mists and gave you back your senses.
Commander, you didn't follow our plans in regard to the smokestick as far as we would have liked. But let bygones be bygones, and let us focus on the important matter of blue sugar water. This latest dwarven invention is taking our youth by storm, but no sooner did others perceive this than cheap knockoffs started to flood the market. This is intolerable! We want to protect this drink as a dwarven intellectual property right so that we alone may produce the famed blue sugar water. I promise you this will bode well for your treasury too. Commander, you didn't follow our plans in regard to the smokestick as far as we would have liked. But let bygones be bygones, and let us focus on the important matter of blue sugar water. This latest dwarven invention is taking our youth by storm, but no sooner did others perceive this than cheap knockoffs started to flood the market. This is intolerable! We want to protect this drink as a dwarven intellectual property right so that we alone may produce the famed blue sugar water. I promise you, this will bode well for your treasury too. Thank you, Commander, thank you. Only the dwarves shall produce blue sugar water, and we will control its price. A price that reflects the top quality of our product. Well done! God's done it, Commander. You haven't an inkling of business sense in you. With all the competition about, we'll have to lower our prices. You can kiss a royal profit margin goodbye.
Commander, whether it be red, blue, green, or quite colourless, everyone should be allowed to manufacture sugar water. The dwarves cry bloody murder because a bit of rivalry will force them to charge reasonable amounts instead of truly ridiculous sums. I suppose it was inevitable Falstaff's promises of a fat treasury would sway you, Commander, but you've disadvantaged all the others, and you'll understand if none of us thank you for it. Very good, Commander. A healthy economy thrives on a free market, rather than a dwarven-dominated one.
Falstaff is correct in that imps love their blue sugar water, but it's quite expensive, and our apple blue sea green variant is mighty cheap. You wouldn't deprive an honest imp of his sugar water, would you, Commander? Oh, bother. You just know those greedy little buggers are going to make us cough up way too much cash for their damn sugar water, but we'll still want it and we'll still buy it. Haha, good show, Commander. We'll produce sugar water so cheaply the dwarves won't have a choice but to follow suit. And just to pester them, we'll make a variant in every colour of the rainbow.
Commander, this is nothing more than a painfully transparent attempt by Falstaff to create a monopoly so he can keep the prices of his awful beverage artificially inflated. Let's not fall for his scheme, shall we? And we fell for it. Anyone else I'd call naive, but I know you are just doing it for the revenues and buggedy principles. Lovely, Commander. I care little enough for sugar water, to be honest. But sometimes the day is not complete until one has seen a disappointed dwarf.
I've seen the effect of this sugar water, Commander. Children go all hyper. They play and jump about almost like imps, no less. Most improper. They should be silent and subdued so as to show their constant reverence for the seven. No, I say to sugar water. And never mind its colour. First it was smoke sticks, now it's sugar water. Both start with the letter S, you know. Just like sin. Just like the No, scratch that thought. Didn't come out properly. Good. I'm still not happy about this devilish drink, but the dwarves would have turned it into a giant enterprise, and that plan at least has been foiled.
Hang it all, Commander. If it isn't the elven academic world out for our blood, it's the bloody elven standard. Claims are made in that scandal sheet that our sugar water is in fact no more than sugared water, and that our special blue ingredient adds nothing to the taste, but is in fact harmful for one's health. This is slander, pure and simple, and I want you to close down the standard's operations forthwith. Once again, simple souls may think that what they read is the truth, and our profit margins would fall, to the detriment of us both, Commander. Hang it all, Commander. If it isn't the elven academic world out for our blood, it's the bloody elven standard. Claims are made in that scandal sheet that our sugar water is in fact no more than sugared water, and that our special blue ingredient adds nothing to the taste, but is in fact harmful for one's health. This is slander, pure and simple, and I want you to close down the standard's operations forthwith. Once again, simple souls may think that what they read is the truth, and our profit margins would fall, to the detriment of us both, Commander. Jolly well done, Commander. That'll teach those damned elves. The nature of our secret ingredient must remain classified, of course, but I assure you, everything is above board. You wouldn't expect any foul play from your old buddy Falstaff now, would you, Commander? Hell's whiskers, there goes our reputation and our money with it. Why tolerate a free press when all they do is print lies, Commander? The Rivellon Times, there's a proper paper. What a mess! What a shame!
Once again, you are fortunate enough, Commander, to enjoy an elven perspective on these matters, and our tests are conclusive. This dwarven product consists of no more than water, sugar, and element X, whatever that may be. Element X is a morally bankrupt factor in that it is, 1, the reason for the dwarves to sell sugar water for preposterous prices even though it adds no taste, and 2, early results indicate it may actually cause a variety of diseases. Falstaff denies this, but I believe in the data I have been given. You are treating us very unfairly, Commander. Whatever possesses you? We seek but to expose the dwarves' fraudulent practices for what they are, and we are the ones to suffer? Just like Falstaff, your great hankering for gold is giving you brain fever. Bravo, Commander. I knew you'd put a stop to all this once our concerns were given a proper voice. I have no idea what Element X is, but I hope that because of the Elven Standard, people will start to wonder. Wonder and drink blue sugar water no more.
Grant you, Commander, nothing is conclusive as yet. But when the dwarves keep something secret, you can bet your crown on it it's something more fishy than a seafood buffet. You're closing down the Elven Standard just because Falstaff's all in a huff? Dear me, Commander. What are you going to do when he asks you to assassinate yours truly because he called him fat and stumpy? Very good, Commander. Young imps have been drinking blue sugar water like dwarves drink beer. But have you noticed almost no dwarf will touch the stuff? Told you, fishy.
The secrecy surrounding this dwarven drink has never sat well with me, Commander. And Oberon's reports only increase my apprehension. I suppose no one else has perceived how the shade of blue in sugar water is the exact same as my kin's skin color. Perhaps my imagination is getting the better of me, but be that as it may, there can be no question of suppressing the Elven Standard. The dwarves can be the very definition of unscrupulous, Commander, especially when they know they enjoy the protection of the highest power in the realm. No, they are doing something malignant. You know it, and I know it. Money, as usual, buys silence and secrecy, no matter how reprehensible the actual secret. I thank you, Commander. I realize my turn of thought as to the nature of Element X was wild and inconceivable, but it gladdens me that in time blue sugar water may well be a thing of the past, now that some brave newspaper men are dead set on exposing its malignant mysteries.
Allowing the Elven Standard to keep on investigating the sordid secrets that surround blue sugar water would in the long run strike a perhaps lethal blow to this dwarven enterprise. So should we abolish its operations? On the contrary, we should support them wherever we can. Damnably foolish of you, Commander. Who knows what they're putting in that sugar water? I bet they tear the souls from people's bodies and liquefy them. Yes, it's bound to be something unholy like that. Good. Yes, wonderful. The days of that demon dwarven drink are numbered. A victory for the 7, Commander. That's right. For I bet they don't even like the few dwarves that are actually pious.